what happens when you finally stop judging yourself for every small mistake and start loving yourself instead? Well, I've been there, so I can tell you that when you start loving yourself, truly love yourself, then everything changes. Your relationships are going to change. You're going to feel less anxiety. You're going to grow your confidence. You're going to have more success because you're going to be a magnet to it. So let me tell you my aha moment about that. So a few years ago, about 20 years ago, I used to work in a sales office. I used to sell apartments, and I had my own office and my own hours. It was from 10 to 5, and I had my own key because I was working there by myself, and there's another office close to me for another woman. And we had the apartment, the show apartment, and I was working on my own hours, but the hours were 10 to 5. And I remember one day that I was late because there was traffic, and I tried to call my boss and tell him I'm going to be late, and I kept on calling and he didn't answer my phones. So I felt so afraid for my job because I said, oh my God, if you will find out that I was late, I'm going to lose my job, and I really like that job. And so I started to record him a message, and I sent him also a text message, and he didn't answer my phone. And about 3 or 4 hours later, he called me and told me, are you insane? You left me so many messages. You called me so many times. For what? To tell me that you're late in 10 minutes? Who cares? You're a good worker. You're a good seller. I really don't care what times you work, as much as I care, so you can come for 1 hour as long as you bring results. And I was so surprised from this conversation because I said to myself, okay, in the past 3-4 hours, I was feeling anxiety. I was sure he was gonna fire me. I'm gonna lose the job that I love because I was late in 10 minutes. And all this time I had, script in my mind that told me that he's gonna fire me and he's going to be very angry at me. And at the end, he was angry with me for calling him and telling him that. And he said, I'm not even awake at this time, so why do you keep on calling me? And he told me, promise me never to call me at this hour, and I really don't care what times you work as long as you bring the results. And I was a good seller. And I remember hanging up the phone and telling myself, oh my God, first of all, what a waste of energy being so afraid and thinking all the thoughts that I thought for the past 3-4 hours, thinking that he was going to fire me. And secondly, how come he appreciates me more than I appreciate myself? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I knew I was a good seller, but it wasn't enough for me. And then I understood that many times in life, I push myself harder and harder because I think that this is what I need to do in order to prove that I deserve of this love. But actually, I don't need to prove anything. I'm a creation of God. I deserve love. And it's more than that. I don't even deserve love of others, but the love of myself. And if I would just stop and think about all my abilities, what I'm capable of, all the things that I've achieved in life, then obviously I would have appreciated myself more. And I remember thinking to myself, I must love myself. I must know what I'm worth, because otherwise, how do I expect other people to love me if I can't love myself? And that was a turning point in my life, that I said to myself, this is just exhausting. And really, seriously, it's exhausting to keep on criticizing myself and to push harder and harder. It never ends. I never reach to the point that I feel good. This is how I felt, okay? You probably know that if you're there. And if you're still experiencing that, I have to say it now, go and do the workbook. My sister created an amazing workbook for self-love. And I've done the work there. I've done the exercise. It's amazing. It really changes everything. So go and do it. You have it in our link tree. Do it now. So I remember that I thought it doesn't worth the price, the mental price that I felt, and the emotional, all the emotions, all the thoughts, all the anxiety. It doesn't worth it. And also my physical body. I mean, probably know that. You will know that you wake up in the middle of the night with all the to-do lists. You keep on thinking, I didn't finish that yesterday. I have to wake up early today. I have to do that. And it's just stressful. And it made me sleepless. And I was just so tired, just really, really tired, because I didn't have the time for myself to restart my body. And this is because I was so harsh on myself. And that moment, and luckily it was 20 years ago, so it was about when I was about 22. And for me, it was a very important turning point. I remember I said, okay, this is it. I'm going to start love myself. Don't know how yet, but I'm going to find a way to love myself and appreciate myself more, because it doesn't make any sense that my boss appreciates me more than I appreciate myself. And since then, I can tell you that my life have changed completely. I remember I had a friend back then that used to just tell me all the time that I'm not worthy enough and I'm not a good friend, and she kept on telling me how things need to be done and why I'm not doing it properly. And I kept on being her friend. Oh my God, why? This is, if you do that, if you have a friend that all the time tell you that you're not worthy, you're not good, so definitely you have a problem with loving yourself, because you shouldn't leave people like that in your life. Okay, if it's someone in your family, so okay, be in touch with them, but don't take any words inside. Remind yourself that it's their thoughts, it's nothing to do with you. But if it touches you and you feel, wow, they're right, I'm not a good person, wow, they're right, I should have try harder, then it means that you need to work on your self-love, because seriously, this is not how you're supposed to feel. So when I started loving myself, I think the first thing that happened is that I grew my confidence. I mean, I started to see the value and appreciate every small things. I remember that every sale that I sold, I started to celebrate it. I started going to, I just met my husband back then. And I remember that I told him I had a sale and let's go and celebrate it. And we started to go and eat outside in a restaurant every time that I sold an apartment. And it was amazing, because all of a sudden I see my success, and I remember that I started to tell myself I really need to rest. So if I can't rest my mind in the middle of the night, because at that point I was still overthinking, so I started to rest in the middle of the day, okay? And I remember people were telling me, why are you resting in the middle of the day? And I said, well, because I want to. But at the beginning it was, why am I doing it? I deserve it. Do I need to prove that I deserve it? But then at a certain point I started to say, well, I wanted to, and I have the time, so I'm gonna rest. Well, it's my time, it's my life, right? I live with the results of my actions, and if my results are good, then what do you care if I rest or not? I mean, I don't harm you. So I started to feel confident with my decisions, and I started to feel less anxiety and more peace, because I was resting, because I was celebrating my success, because I was noticing them. And my confidence grew, and then I could attract people to my life, like good friends that I still have until now, that appreciate me. And every small things that I notice in my life, they tell me, wow, you're amazing. You know what one of my friends even told me? I remember telling her that I found, like, from being I'm a person that observes life all the time. I remember that I noticed something that I do that is not a good thing, not a good something that I want to replace. And I remember that I told her that I feel that I'm doing that thing, and I notice it, I observe it, and I have that thought, and I want to change it. And she told me, wow, you're amazing to notice it. And if it was the old friend that I had then, that she would have told me, yeah, this is really bad that you're doing it, that you're such a bad person that you're doing it. And this one told me, this is amazing that you notice it. So we understand everything. All the relationships have changed. The relationship with my friends, with my parents have changed. They started telling me that I'm good, that I have so many success in life. And instead of seeing the things that didn't work, I started to see the things that do work. So this is so important. If you don't see all their success, if you don't celebrate your success, go and do the workbook now, because it is very, very important for you. It's going to change everything. And I want to give you just a few tools to things that I use until now. So first of all, we're humans, so we're going to make mistakes. But I tell myself that it's not a failure. It's just something to learn from. And also every challenge, I don't look at it as an obstacle. I tell myself as a challenge. You're gonna learn from it, you're gonna grow from it. And every time I remind that to myself. Now, the second thing is, and this is because I've changed my friends to a good friend that actually appreciate me, is that I ask myself, if I speak to myself, in a certain way that is not good, I remind myself, well, would you like your best friend to talk to you like that? Would you say that to your best friend? Would you say that to your daughter? And then immediately I know, no, I know what I'm going to say. I know what the words that I'm going to pick. And as I said, also the third thing is that I celebrate the victories, and small victories are big victories at the same time. And all the time, do that. It's important. All the time, I collect proofs for that I'm worthy. I collect things that give me, people tell me that I'm good, and the successes that I have, and compliments that I get, and I just collect them. I write it down in my notebook so I won't forget, because, sometimes, we're in bad times, we forget. We forget how good we are. We forget how people appreciate us. And I just kind of collecting the proofs for me that I have them in times that I don't remember. So this is really changes everything. It's really gonna change your life. And I know that sometimes there are people around us that tells us like, well, you're selfish. If self-love is making you lazy, okay? Well, I had a person in my life telling me that because I was sleeping at noon, and I said, no, again, I don't harm you. I'm not lazy. I know who I am. I know what I worth. I know how I work. That I'm not lazy. Trust me, I'm not lazy. I'm far away from that. And people say that self-love is something indulgent, something that you need to prove, and it's something that doesn't come all the time. No, it's a basic thing for our soul, for our mental health. Loving ourselves is good for our mental health, and it affects everyone around us. Don't you want your kids to love themselves? Really? So if I want my kids to love myself, I need to inspire them. I need to show them how to take care of their own needs, to know to love themselves, not because other people love them, not because other people appreciate them. They need to know what they're good at. So this is something very important. I remind myself at all times, I'm an inspiration to my kids. So what do I want to inspire them with, and what do I want to teach them? And I need not to talk about it. I need to walk the walk. I need to show it to them, because kids don't learn from listening. They're learning from watching. So I have to do that. And it's a practice. It's a practice, because there are times in life that we don't like ourselves because the results are not the way we want them to be. But as I said before, when we love ourselves, the result will come, because we will be a magnet for that success. So this is very, very important. And we don't stop by doing it once. We have to do it every day. Every day, find time for ourselves. Tell ourselves that we're worthy. Love ourselves. Remind ourselves the small things that we did in order to reach that success. There is no such a thing, small steps, If you want to reach to a certain point, every step counts. Even if you run, even if you walk really slowly, even in the times you stand still and just breathe, because you need to breathe at that moment. When you run a marathon, there are certain times that you need to catch up your breath. It's very important as well. So just remind yourself that you're on the way and you're doing the best possible at that certain point. So yeah, as you see, I'm really happy to talk to you about it, because I love that topic. So write to me. How did it make you feel? What you are going to take in your life? What small step you are going to do for yourself to have more self-love? And go get this workbook. It's amazing. It's going to help you so much. It's going to change your life, your relationship. It's going to just make you a happier person. Grab the workbook now, and I can't wait to read your comments, and obviously share, subscribe, all the important things you have to do here on YouTube. So subscribe and share with friends, and I'll see you soon. Bye.